Now what I have with me here on my phone are a collection of numbers pertaining to the new MG Gloster. So here goes. Length 4985 mm, height 1867 mm, wheelbase 2950 mm, power 218 horsepower, torque 480 Newton meters. Now why am I telling you all this? Because they are all class best figures, or rather I should say they are a little bit more than what you get in the current crop of big 7-seat body on frame premium SUVs in India. And that's just what MG hopes to do with the new Gloster, give you that little bit more. But those are the numbers on a PDF file. How does it all translate into the real world? That's what I'm here to find out today. This is truly a massive SUV with loads of all-important road presence. In fact, even its 19-inch alloy wheels, which are also a size larger than the competition, almost look a little dwarfed in the cavernous wheel arches. Still, details like the slim LED projector headlamps, the large brushed metal grille, and the sculpted bonnet are quite attractive. I like the way the chrome window garnish extends upwards at the C-pillar to join the roof rails. The dummy quad exhaust lend it a sporty look, and although there is a lot of chrome all over the car, including the alloy wheels, it's pretty tastefully done. The Gloster has badges all over to let you know its features and its name, plus a pair of Union Jack badges on the front flanks that say Brit Dynamic. But what do you think about the new MG Gloster? Do you like it? Would you pick it over the established crop of big 7-seat SUVs? Let us know down in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like our videos in general, be sure to subscribe to the Autocar India channel and click the bell icon to stay notified. Now let's move inside, where owners are in for quite a treat. Now if the Gloster's engine specs and exterior dimensions were meant to be that little bit more than the rest, the interior clearly appears to be a lot more than the rest. The touchscreen itself is a massive 12.3-inch unit, and well, it's got every feature they could possibly throw at it. It's a connected car, it's got a partner app, it's got a Ghana app in it with a subscription built into it, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, live traffic updates, even live weather, and of course you can talk to it and ask it a number of questions or commands. That said, the touchscreen does need a firm prod for it to work. More interesting is the high-res 8-inch central MID screen that shows you the general trip and fuel computer data, but also a whole lot more info as well. In fact, it's so prominent you might even miss the small analog speedo and tacho on either side of it. The front seats are really comfortable. They're big, they're powered, they're well contoured. They even give you a massage function and are heated and cooled on the driver's side. But if there's one thing that's a bit of a bother, is that the seat cushioning is a little bit firm and there is an excess of lumbar support. Even at its lowest setting, it pokes into your back just a little bit too much. Now as far as quality goes, they've really made an effort to make you feel you're in a premium space in this car. There's faux leather on the dashboard with stitching on it, quilted seats, quilted armrests over here, and lots of colors and textures. But the only thing is that some of the switchgear, particularly on this rather crowded steering wheel, doesn't feel like it belongs in a car this expensive. Apart from that though, there is a lot of wow factor in this cabin, and that is sure to draw in buyers. And now onto the equipment list, and I hope you're sitting down for this because it's a long one. Here goes. There's also the feed for the 360-degree cameras, which can even do a 3D external augmented reality view. But the resolution is not really that great. Moreover, in parking mode, the parking sensors tend to be a bit oversensitive. There's also loads of safety kit as well as ADAS or Advanced Driver Assistance Systems features, which are a first in the segment, and we'll show you these in greater detail in another video. Now let's go check out what it's like if you're a passenger in the Gloster. Now as you'd expect for a big rugged ladder frame SUV like this, it's a bit of a climb up into the cabin. But once you're in place, it is a very comfortable place to be indeed. The seats are captain chairs, of course much like the ones at the front, not quite as plush but pretty close.
They give you quite a bit of comfort and support. They of course recline if you want. And there's a bit of storage here too, and even a pair of cup holders. Now, as you can see, this is set to my driving position. I'm just under 5'8" tall, and I've got enough room right now, but if you really want to maximize things, you can slide it quite a way behind and get a lot more room. That of course has an effect on the space in the back, but we'll get to that in a moment. Other creature comforts back here include a third separate climate zone and a bit of charging facilities in the form of USB and a 12-volt socket. Well, of course, who can forget the big draw with all MGs, the panoramic sunroof. Now, from where I'm sitting, the easiest way to get into the third row is to just hop in between these two seats and walk straight through. There is definitely enough place, but I'm going to show you the traditional proper way to get in from the outside. So it's a two-step process. Pull up the lever down here, slide it forward, drop the backrest, and well, you've got enough room to climb in through there. It's not a really tight squeeze. Someone else will have to get the door for you though. Pull this back, pull on the lever again, back into place, and well, look at the amount of space I've got there. Now this isn't all the way back, of course, it's in a sort of middle position, but if you can make this compromise with the middle row passenger, I think you'll find there is a tremendous amount of room, even headroom. I'm sure even taller passengers won't mind being in the back here for a little while at least. In fact, I go so far as saying that this is one of the most spacious third row seats I've ever encountered in an SUV. Sure, there's not a lot of place for your feet, and yes, you do sit a little bit knees up, but I think those are things you can forgive just for the amount of room back here. And of course, you get plenty of creature comforts, your own AC vents, USB and 12-volt sockets for charging, and even cup holders.
And if you plan to use the Gloster as a family car for long-distance road trips, you've got to have good luggage space too.
The boot space with all rows up is decent, and once again more than what you get in rivals, capable of taking a few small bags once you lift them over the high load lip. However, fold the third row down and you get a truly cavernous space. There's even a handy roll-out luggage cover you can use in this configuration.
And so that's practicality and equipment done. Let's get the big Gloster out on the road.
But before you even get to the power, what you notice right away is the refinement. At low revs especially, this is definitely one of the quietest engines of its kind. But let's get on to the way this engine behaves, and to that 218 horsepower and 480 Newton meters. But if you look at the performance figures, you'll see that it's actually very quick for a car this big. Against our V-Box testing equipment, 0 to 100 kph came up in a seriously quick 11.2 seconds for this massive SUV. And even in-gear acceleration with a kickdown to simulate overtaking was impressive, especially given its mammoth 2.5-ton curb weight. In fact, it's quicker than all other SUVs of this kind. But what really puts a dampener on things, and what is perhaps one of the biggest flaws of this car, is the way this engine is calibrated. The engine is absolutely dead below 2000 RPM, and when it wakes up at 2000 RPM, it rocks you back with a lot of force and pushes you and your passengers back in their seats. And this is only compounded by the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is very slow to respond and not very quick to shift either. Like right now, we're climbing up a mild gradient, but it just will not downshift. You really have to kick it. It's gone down one gear, but honestly it should have gone down two. And what that means is it drops you into that dead zone below 2000 RPM all too often, and that just doesn't make for smooth driving.
An advantage here are the gear shift paddles that can let you take matters into your own hands should you need to. The highway, however, is where this powertrain excels. Its big reserves of torque and long-legged gearing mean it can cruise effortlessly in 7th or 8th gear, which makes it the ideal SUV for those long outstation trips with the family.
The Gloster comes with a number of drive modes, most of which are for different off-road situations, and while we didn't get time to go off-roading today, we'll tell you all about them in another video. There are 3 road-based modes, Eco, Auto and Sport, but frankly we couldn't feel a discernible difference between them in practice. What really is quite a revelation is how easy this massive SUV is to drive. Now, heavy ladder frame SUVs like these are usually quite a handful to drive, not only because of their large size and weight, but also because they tend to have rather heavy and ponderous steerings, but not this one. The Gloster steering is just beautifully judged. It's light enough that it takes all the effort out of steering such a big car, but it's also got enough feel and feedback to make you feel just a little bit connected to the road. And as a result, you get used to this car's size very quickly. What also helps in that regard is the fact that visibility is really good. Yes, you get these massive mirrors, but there's enough of a gap between them and the tall upright A-pillar that lets you see right through and right around very easily. The only thing I'd say is that rear visibility through this mirror is a bit compromised thanks to the tall seats and the high headrests. Now, handling. This is a big and tall SUV riding on soft suspension, so of course it's not going to be very good, but again, by the standards of cars of this type, it is very good. There is loads and loads of body roll, there's no getting away from that, but there is a certain composure to this car at speed that other ladder frame SUVs don't seem to have.
So it's incredibly easy to drive for such a big SUV, and it also gives you more than enough confidence at speed or when changing direction. The ride smoothens out admirably as you pick up the pace, and the best part is, despite being comfortable, it doesn't feel too soft or overly bouncy at high speeds either, which means it's really superbly judged. In fact, it's safe to say the Gloster has the best ride and handling mix amongst all the large ladder frame SUVs on the market right now. And that's despite it being the largest and tallest of the lot.
Well, that was certainly a pleasant surprise, wasn't it? The MG Gloster could very well have just been a collection of numbers with no real substance, but it's proven to be so much more than that. It is a genuinely good product, and under there is a very desirable premium 7-seat SUV. Okay, the sluggish engine and gearbox do let it down a little bit, but that aside, it really has a lot going for it.
What we don't know is the price, which wasn't yet revealed at the time of this review, but what we hear is that this top-spec Savvy version will be priced just above the established competition, at around 35 lakh rupees ex-showroom. Now that's a pretty bold move, but MG is hoping buyers will see value in the size, space, performance, comfort and, oh yes, the equipment. We'll have to wait and see if that's true, but if it is, the Gloster could make another big impact, just like the Hector did.